5 Questions with LeRoy Butler is brought to you by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Now, here's Tom Silverstein.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to 5 Questions with LeRoy Butler. I'd like to say there'd be another show, but this is the Packers.
Well, we can do as many shows
show.
as possible, but the Packers season is over.
It's over. It is all over.
But what do you say to the fan, though, that says basically they didn't expect this? It was a great season, go to the NFC Championship game. I mean, all that can be true.
Well, I'll ask you, what did you guys say after you lost to Dallas in the NFC Championship game in '95?
We learned.
I mean, they were a much better team, still a better team.
Oh, yeah, I think they were. I mean, and I'm okay with saying that. But I think you also have to learn that it's hard to get to the NFC Championship game. So you got to take advantage of it. We were lucky enough in a year or two to kind of change some things around, a combination of players. But we kept the same scheme, but players just got to play better. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what eventually got us to a Super Bowl. You know, our top players have to play better down the stretch. Otherwise, you know, the X's and O's part of it, you know, the other guys get paid too, but it was always that one team that really you feel like has your number. Mm-hmm. And I think that's San Francisco with Green Bay now, losing to these guys twice. And you got to play them again next year at their place. Well, so you got to figure something out.
I thought the worst I had ever seen was for getting out schemed was the Kaepernick game out there in 2012. But now I'm reevaluating because Kyle Shanahan just whipped the Packers defensive coaches, don't you think? I mean, it was.
They didn't run anything that was surprising. They ran the same things that they ran the first time when it was 37-8 or something like that. They ran the same stuff, a little bit more motion, a little bit more shifts. They just looked like the faster, fresher team. And that's, for coaches, is frustrating because the one thing we're supposed to be on even playing field. I got great players, you got great players. Mm-hmm. But physically, you got great players physically, I got great players physically. But the speed of a backup running back. Now, remember, Coleman went out. Mm-hmm. A backup running back and Garoppolo.
Who's been on 6 teams.
I know, right? And Garoppolo threw 8 passes. Mm-hmm. But here's why I think it was the difference. They probably went to George Kittle and said, you know what? You're just going to block. Mm-hmm. We have a better matchup running the ball. You got to be okay with 1 catch for 19 yards. And he bought in. Went to the quarterback, you're not going to be a factor. We're going to run this ball and play great defense. Hopefully they turn the ball over, and we're going to win a low-scoring, ugly game. That's probably what they thought. And what proved that on that 3rd and 8, they ran a draw play and scored.
For a touchdown. Yeah. I don't think that Kyle Shanahan said, I'm going to run it 42 times.
It just happened.
I think he said, we're going to run it a lot. And then it got to the point where he said, well, we're going to run it till you stop us. Right. And they couldn't stop them.
No.
I mean, they could not stop them for anything. And I don't understand, and Matt LaFleur made reference to it on Wednesday in his season-ending press conference. Mm-hmm. How do you come out flat for an NFC Championship game? How do you not have energy on defense? Mm-hmm. How do you not feel like it's the most important game? Because they didn't play that way. I didn't sense they did.
It's almost like playing a team that runs the wishbone, and you know they're going to run the ball, but you just can't beat it. You have to get them in passing situations. I was wrong.
But what about the emotional side of it? I mean, they just were not in it. I mean, it just seemed like they were defeated before they even got on the field. And I'm usually not a guy who's into that flat stuff.
Right. But their body language, I mean, I get it. But again,
how does that happen?
It was a first for a lot of guys being in that particular game. But who it wasn't a first for was Aaron Rodgers. Uh-huh. Who it wasn't a first for is a few of these guys on the offensive team. So you would think it would be, worst case, it'd been a shootout. But the defense all year, every now and then, will give up some rushing yards, but not to this level. But again, I thought I was wrong. I thought it would come down to both quarterbacks, and Aaron Rodgers would prove superior over Jimmy Garoppolo. You get him in some third down, 14s, and some third, he'd throw you the ball. I mean, they never got it. That's so disappointing. He never got to where they depended upon, Jimmy Garoppolo to make great
to
plays.
Play quarterback,
He just handed it off.
Yeah.
And that's what's the most embarrassing thing. But worst case, you still say, well, I got Aaron Rodgers to offset anything, even the rushing, and the interception, the fumble snap, those kind of things. It's hard to beat a team when we have takeaways and giveaways.
Well, it's clear that both teams, the offense and defense have to play together because the offense held responsibility for that big first half lead as well.
Yeah.
They put the defense in bad situations.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And if it's a shootout, sometimes your defense is getting beat. But if you can match them offensively, then they don't feel as comfortable running it every single time. I mean, you're up 23-0. Sure, I'll run it every single down.
And I go back to when they played the Saints, they won 48-46.
Yeah.
They were matching the Saints touchdown for touchdown, whatever way, we just got to stay up. And the offense never really got to that point. Here's the thing about the offense. I wanted to say this. Matt LaFleur, who I'm a big fan of, he has to say to himself, moving forward, is this the offense we're going to run? Because I hear all these people saying when I'm at Pick and Save and all these places, Aaron needs more talent. They need more talent at wide receiver. That may be true. But is this the offense we're going to run moving forward? Because they run the same stuff similar, and it don't look the same. And they have everything you need. Otherwise, he has to say to himself, Aaron is not the Patrick Mahomes type anymore. He has to be more like Jimmy Garoppolo. Manage the game. Don't turn it over. When we need you to throw for 300, fine.
Right.
But for the most part, we want you to hand it off a bunch of times. And you have 8 attempts. And I don't know if Aaron's going to be all right with that. Otherwise, he got to scrap this offense, bring in some passing coordinator, let some other guy call the plays.
Or change quarterbacks.
Well, but see, they're stuck. They can't change quarterbacks. They almost can't.
No, they can't. You're right.
Yeah, they're stuck for like a couple years.
I think they need to start. I think it may be time to draft a quarterback and start.
Now, that's a conversation we could have. That depends on how many holes you think you have.
But, yeah, right. But my thought is if you draft a quarterback, at least you send a message to Rodgers that, okay, look, we can't do it all your way. I'm in this to win Super Bowls and not to make you feel good. And also, what's a little competition? I'm sure it did Brett Favre pretty well during 06 and 07.
Brett had some of his best years.
Yeah, he did. he did. 07. He had a great year in 07. So
now you're saying in what round, though? Because they're going to be in the 20s.
I don't know. Whenever there's a quarterback they like, they're
right,
30. They're number 30.
They're number 30. Okay,
Yeah.
30. So if there's a quarterback there, you got to say to yourself, if I don't sign Balaga back, that needs to be a right tackle. We're just saying if.
I think it. Yeah.
If
or
we don't
a wide
bring
receiver.
Martinez back, that need to be a linebacker.
Yeah.
If you don't develop these 3 wide receivers that you're hoping, the Scantling types, St. Brown will be coming back, and the Jamon Moore, let him go.
It's a great wide receiver draft. They should be able to come out with three guys better than what they did in the draft 2 years ago.
Well, let me flip it around 1 second. So if you're LeRoy Butler, by the way, if I gave you $35 million, you're not as good looking, but you're still LeRoy Butler. If I gave you the $35 million and I said, LeRoy, you can only spend it on one side of the ball, which side would you put that money?
Offense.
So you would go offense.
I would go offense.
After giving up 300 yards rushing,
I have to believe that my defense will be better next year because
you kept
my safety will be.
You're back to being Tom now, by the way.
Yeah.
So you would go offense, offensive line, receiver, tight end, upgraded a little bit more.
Yeah, it's an offensive game. I do worry, though, about inside linebacker and defensive line.
Yes.
I mean, if there were a defensive lineman, a run-stuffing defensive lineman, or really good at number 30, I'd have to think about taking them.
Well, the good thing about it, if you're going to spend the money on offense, you could draft on defense. So
so you're talking about free agency. I thought you were talking about the draft.
No, this is free agency.
Free agency?
Well, I'm giving you $32 million. We'll reset.
Yeah,
LeRoy,
okay.
I'm going to give you $32 million because I restructured with Aaron.
Yeah.
Where would you, but you only got to put in one side of the ball.
Yeah.
Would you put it on offense or defense?
Yeah,
I know that's kind of a hypothetical.
Free agency, I'd probably keep going with defense.
Okay.
I would get an inside linebacker, a defensive lineman if I could.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a stud. I don't think they're going to be big splashes, but
now,
get
is
an
Kenny
athletic.
Clark part of your
Some
of the money you're going to spend?
Well, you didn't say that was for that.
Well, you say free
said
agency.
$35 million for free agent. He's not a free agent. You don't have to pay him.
Kenny Clark's not a free agent?
No, he's got another year after.
Okay, so you don't have to do an extension.
No,
Okay.
but you do have to do an extension before next season.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you want to nail him down now.
So now you'll do the draft offensive heavy.
Yes.
Okay,
I
that
would
makes
go
sense.
heavy with wide receivers.
Assuming you would also sign Mason Crosby in the 30-something million.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put special
I would.
teams.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There's. Would you re-sign Blake Martinez?
I don't have anybody to replace him
Right.
in 4 years,
That's
whether you like him or not. The guy has 200 million trillion tackles. I don't care where they are on the field.
Yeah.
But the production can't be the reason why you won't bring him back.
Yeah, I mean, he may wind up getting overpaid by someone, and they just say, we can't pay $10 million. Right. But you could also, if you could put the right athletic linebacker next to him, I think his game would be so much better.
Well, that was supposed to be Owen Burks.
It was supposed to be Owen Burks, and that's a bust. That's not going to happen. I mean, it's too much to say a Devin Bush, but, you just need a Fred Warner like the 49ers have, a guy like that, or Dre Greenlaw, someone who is really athletic and can complement Martinez, because he just can't do it by himself. They throw a safety down there, and it's just not the same.
Especially against the run.
Yeah.
Against the run, it just doesn't. The 4-2-5 defense. I'm just not a big proponent of that nickel defense, because you got to be able to. That's why Patrick Willis and Bowman, they were so good at it, because those two guys are physically enough to stop the run and play the pass.
Yeah, they didn't have to. Well, it's like KJ Wright and Bobby Wagner.
Yes.
You don't have to take them off the field.
Right.
I mean, and those are great examples. I mean, those are two.
Those are studs.
The best.
They're studs. Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
But you could add, and this is my problem with the Patton defense, is that, okay, so you went with pretty much nickel the whole year, somewhat of a dime, because you threw that extra safety in there instead of inside linebacker. Yeah. Then you get to the NFC Championship game, and the 49ers say, we're going to make you play base defense the entire game. Yeah. And you don't know how to play base. You haven't played it all year. Your guys are out of place. They're, that's my problem.
The one quarterback that you should play base on is Jimmy Garoppolo. Make him beat you.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even play nickel or dime. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even blitzed him. Well, I would have played a stop the run defense, make him beat you, the George Kittles of the world, make those guys beat you. I mean, those guys just had the day off. I mean, he went an hour without throwing the ball. Yeah. I mean, it's a kind of a head scratcher. So if you're going to do that on free agency, and I think Gutekunst has proven that he'll spend the money if they get somebody out there, but they need some defensive linemen. I think still at somewhere down the line, I will still upgrade the secondary. If Tremont is not back, you need some secondary help too, because the secondary down the stretch did not play well.
It did not play well. But, you know, you only have so much money, and Jair Alexander is your top corner no matter what. He's going to be there. Kevin King is still a good player. I mean, you're lucky to have two corners like that. You know, Savage, you would hope, would be better next year.
Yeah,
that he gets his rookie.
Tackling is a true issue. I would love he would be an easy guy to coach because he has all the tools. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe the assistants, when they brought back Pettit, I don't know if the assistants are coming back, but something has to be upgraded on that defense to get these guys to play, because they got too much talent not to be to that level that you want.
Yeah. You know, one thing that I think is changing in the NFL is that, you know, it used to be that you could play nickel every down. Now all of a sudden we're starting to see teams that they don't just have drop back passers. They run it both with the quarterback and the
dual threat
wide receiver. I mean, I'm sorry, the running back. So the run game is in vogue, and the Packers are behind the curve again. You know, now they've got a defense that is all pass oriented, you know, towards stopping the pass, and now the trend is changing.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating thing, I'm sure, with LaFleur. I bet you he's very frustrated. He thought his team would come out with more energy. I mean, the opponent sets up for itself. It would have been a great way to go to the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers beating the one childhood team that passed on him. It was just a great story. It really was. And he got to make sure his quarterback next year understand that this offense, we're going to do it like this. And he mentioned that, you know, his first year, they went to Aaron and want to be underneath the center. And now we were talking about this, remember, months ago. What percentage he's under the center, what percentage he's in the shotgun. I think if it was up to him, it would be like, you know, Eric Bieniemy is with Patrick Mahomes. You're in the shotgun a bunch at a time. You get a chance to dictate the RPOs when you want to run it. I don't know if that does great for Aaron Jones, but maybe get another running back to go with Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams, another of a change-up type guy. So you can have a three-headed monster to throw at people. And they only got those two guys.
And I wonder if, you know, when you went into a game, when the Packers went into a game, they almost always knew Rodgers was the best player on the field. And that's not the case anymore. You know, they went into the playoffs and Russell Wilson was the best player on the field. They went into this one, probably George Kittle was the best player on the field, maybe Devontae Adams. You could make an argument that Devontae Adams is the best player on the Packers right now. I mean, you watch some of that tape, and him getting open against Sherman was phenomenal.
Well, and not only that, he missed 4 games, going to the Pro Bowl for the 3rd time. Zadarius Smith going to the Pro Bowl. Kenny Clark made a lot of money by going to the Pro Bowl. But again, it just seemed like if the team is 14-4, what was that?
That's the final record.
If they won that many games, but we're really talking about a lot of holes, I mean, are they that far away? I mean, because somebody has to be upgraded so how do you explain that? How do you explain that? I mean, was it a fluke or was it just lucky or whatever? At the end of the day, they won a lot of games, and they're going to continue to win a lot of games, but they got to make the team speed overall has to be better.
Yeah.
Because obviously San Francisco is in the Super Bowl because of speed.
Kansas City is in
there
Super Bowl
because of speed.
Yeah.
I remember years ago it used to be because of defense, Seattle and Denver. Defense. Now it's because of the offense has team speed.
And I thought that Gutekunst had done a good job of that on defense with Jair Alexander. Savage is a fast guy. I thought Oren Burks was going to be, you know, a guy that they put in. But he signed guys like, Raven Green is a 4-4 guy. Chandon Sullivan is a 4-4 guy. He added a lot of defensive backs. He didn't add great speed at linebacker.
No.
And that's probably where it's hurting them the most.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying they should go to a 4-3. I'm like, no, the system works. They got to get, a few more players here. Why didn't Raven Green?
They're built for a 3-4. You
right,
can't,
no question about that.
You can't go to a 4-3 with Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith. You're locked into being a 3-4 team.
And if I was a coordinator, that's the defense I would run. Yeah. But the Raven Green thing, I thought maybe they would.
I mean, let's face it. He's not a savior. He wasn't going to change that game.
No.
I mean, I think they were giving him a chance to practice, rewarding him for how hard he was working, but he probably wasn't 100%. I mean,
Yeah, they can roll him over the next year and see if he's a difference maker in some way.
He will be in that, if they play that nickel safety position, he'll be that guy. But,
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good year, though. It was a good year. I mean, of course, we want to thank Potawatomi Hotel and Casino for sponsoring us all year. But and if you were listening to us, it's kind of a head scratcher because no one expects for Mostert. How you say his name? Mostert.
Mostert.
Over 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean,
but remember the 2 Johnson guys from Detroit who ran for 171 yards against the Packers in Week 17. So it shouldn't be a surprise. We all overlooked that.
A game of that magnitude, just like you said, coming out.
We overlooked that.
And you can see a Malafleur on his face. He was very disappointed his team didn't come out with more.
Yeah. He's got to figure out why that happened.
Yeah. And I think he will. I think it'll be a fun offseason to let them know that they're going to improve. They've proven that they'll spend money.
Yeah.
Something they wouldn't do in the past. But that's what San Francisco did. They were 4-12, draft and development, got all these picks. Those guys are panning out. 6-9-1, you spend free agency, you're in a championship game. So next year, I don't know what the trend is going to be, but now it's about speed.
Yep.
And the Packers didn't have enough of that.
Okay. You got a big weekend coming up, huh?
Yeah. I'll be at the Super Bowl.
You'll find out on Saturday night.
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah.
Week from
Saturday.
Week from this Saturday, you will find out.
Yeah,
I'm
like
sorry,
2
not this
o'clock.
weekend, but I meant
I know
have
what
a
you mean,
big weekend.
Yeah,
Super
they got
Bowl
the Pro
weekend.
Bowl stuff this week.
Yeah.
But and we'll come and do a show after that.
Sure.
Although,
absolutely
whatever.
we will,
I'll
because
let you
we'll
know
be
what's going on.
celebrating you going into the Hall of Fame, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. Hope you enjoyed it. We got a really lengthy X and O's that
Do we have to?
I think you'll enjoy.
All
Until then, see you later.
Bye-bye.